Hey everyone, with Monster Hunter Rise on PC, many people are picking up for the first time, and I thought I might help people with learning their weapons. As someone who's been playing Rise since launch on Switch, and has a couple hundred hours self-admittedly, I thought I could help some of you out with this process. This guide will be for a controller, as it is what I'm familiar with, as I haven't picked up Rise on PC, so sorry about the lower resolution and 30 FPS. I'll be starting this series off with Longsword, since it's the weapon that the game starts you with. And it's a pretty good example of an easy to learn but hard to master weapon. First of all, I'm going to show you off the basic attacks and what their uses are. So first of all, we start with the overhead slash, which is done by pressing the top face button of your controller. This move has a really good range as you swing it. As you see, since the hunter takes a step forwards when you first do it, and as it is an overhead swing, it can actually hit pretty high. If you see, I hit on the top of the monster right there, as opposed to if I do it back here, I hit the chest of the monster. So I showed this like a second ago, but if you didn't notice, you can follow up the step slash overhead slash with the same move only once. If you press the same button again. In addition to doing this, you actually won't do a step forwards and you'll stay in place. Next we have the thrust, which is done with the right face button on your controller. This move does not do as much damage or have as much range as the overhead slash, but it comes out a lot faster and is incredibly useful for getting counters or the special stance ready, which we'll get into later, but are both very important. Like the overhead slash, you can follow this up by pressing the same button again, or you can press X, or top face button, sorry. Just whatever you prefer to do the rising slash, which is kind of like your combo finisher, but you can just combo the same things all into each other. So before we go into the more complicated things, I just want to show you, like your most basic combo is top button, right button, right button. And then you can press top button, right button, top button, and just repeat. Pretty basic combo. Can be done like if a monster's knocked down or something. But before we move on to the more complicated stuff, I just want to show you the face slash, which is your next like simple move, but it's also very important. You do this by pressing the top and right face button at the same time. You see, you swing in a wide arc around you and jump backwards. This is a good evasive move and repositioning tool, which for Longsword can be very important. And you'll notice that if you just press this by itself, you can only go backwards, or like backwards of where your hunter is, as opposed to if you attack and then do it and hold direction, you'll go that way. So right now, hold left after doing attack, and you see I go left. This can be useful if you're like at the side of a monster and you're trying to reposition more to the front. See? Like that. So now let's talk about Spirit. As you've been attacking, you might have noticed that the little sword gauge next to my sharpness has been going up and now it's going down since I am not attacking. This is your Spirit gauge. You just gain it by attacking and some other things. We'll get into that though. Once your Spirit is high enough, the Spirit combo is done by just pressing right trigger, right trigger, right trigger, which does 3 hits, and then fourth time, that's your finisher, called Spirit Round Slash, and as you notice, it changes the color around the sword gauge next to your sharpness. So this is called Spirit level, and your Longsword gains more damage per level you have. But you also see that it goes down over time, and once the color like runs out, it'll go down to the like color it was before and do less damage. But you can rebuild it. So it has 3 levels, that being white, yellow, then red being the strongest. And I forgot to mention that it's not just the Spirit combo that levels up your Spirit gauge, but also certain counters, which is the main focus of Longsword, I would say, can also level up your Spirit. So, the first counter I'm going to talk about is called the foresight slash. This is done by after doing an attack, which, like I said, thrust is really good for starting counters since it's very quickly. So you just do thrust, and then right trigger and your right face button, and do like a little dash back and slash forwards. So this is like a preemptive slash that you do before a monster is about to hit you. I'll just show that now. So if you look at my spirit gauge, oh sorry, I didn't hit it. So if you do it, 1, 2, I hit it, and then if you press the right trigger again, you will do this your spirit finisher, which will either fill up and bring you to the next level of spirit, or if you're at the top, it'll just refresh it all the way to the top. Yeah, so this can be used against roars as well. So at the start of a fight, if you just hit the monster and right before it roars, you do a foresight slash, you can just get a free level of spirit right at the start of the hunt. It's super good. I suggest, just trying it out, figuring out the timing. It can be hard to get used to, so, don't get intimidated by that. It'll just come with you as you keep trying it and figure out the timing against certain moves against certain monsters. So next counter I'm going to talk about isn't fully a counter. Well, it is a counter. But you start it by doing something that isn't a counter, which I'll show you is this is the special sheath, which you do by after doing an attack, you press the right trigger and your bottom face button, which sheaths your weapon and you can't move, but you can roll out of it and stuff. If you press the top face button after doing this, you'll do a 2-hit thing called the EI slash. And if you look at my spirit gauge, it's blue right now. I'm not attacking at all, and it's just regenerating all that zone. And then you can do your full spirit combo, right? So there's another move you can do after this. If you press the right trigger when you're in stance, which is called the spirit or the EI spirit slash. And this is your second counter. This one can be a bit harder to get used to because before you can even do the counter, you have to be in stance. But you'll see. Oh, okay. I didn't get it right there. Well, I'm working. There we go. It fills up your spirit gauge or levels it up, and does 3 pretty strong hits. Like as you do like an anime-esque attack. This is just a very strong attack, and if you're like low on your spirit level, it can just help you out and do a lot of damage. So let's go into Silkbind attacks and Sochigos. So the one I'm going to show first is called Serene Pose. This takes up 2 Wirebug skills, and you do by pressing your Wirebug button and the right face button at the same time. You can see it does a big slash. It does quite a bit of damage. And but to make up for that, it decreases your spirit by 1 level. This move is actually very powerful when it's at red spirit level, and you have some sort of really good, powerful, like high damage build. Like to the point where when waking up a monster when it's asleep, this move can do more damage than a Greatsword's true charge slash, but not in most circumstances. So, unless you know the damage will outdo a Greatsword, just let him do it. Alright, so this is it's a pretty okay one. I say that was a joke. The better one. So I'm just going to level up my spirit here just to show you. Okay, so you see my spirit's just normal right now. So when you press the Silkbind button and your top face button, you'll do a little jump, hop towards, multi-hit attack. That's pretty decent damage, but that starts filling up your spirit automatically, which can be pretty useful. If you're further away from the monster, then like you can hit with like an EI slash, which isn't like too often. Obviously, see, like I can't hit from there, but from here, if I do it with this, it's better range, right? So this one has there's actually 2 moves you can do as soaring kick, because soaring kick's like what you do when you're flying over the monster, right? So once you hit the kick on the way there, right? So the first hit, if you press your right trigger, you'll do the Spirit Helmbreaker, which is a move that hits 7 times. It's very powerful and decreases your spirit gauge, but it's like the longsword's main damage of output, or its main damage output, my bad. And it's very powerful. And like whenever you're at red, if you have a good opening, you like want to use this. It can be a bit hard to get used to, and against a moving monster, the hitbox can be pretty janky. But other than that, it's a very good move. Alright, so your first switch skill is the drawn double slash, which replaces the step slash, which is your drawing attack, which normally is just like the overhead slash. So with the drawn double slash, you'll see is pretty much just like a direct upgrade from the overhead slash. I think it's faster, it might even have a bit more range, and it hits twice, totaling more damage than the overhead slash does. And if you look at my spirit gauge already, it's filled up quite a bit. So this attack just like levels up fills up your gauge a lot faster than the draw slash. So I think this is just a complete upgrade over the normal step slash. This switch skill is the second one. It replaces your spirit round slash combo. In other words, it changes the last 2 hits of your spirit combo as well as the finisher for the foresight slash, which in my opinion I would say is an upgrade. This one's more up to preference, and the spirit round slash has better ease of use, but this one does more damage and it's actually faster. So you see you do like a slice there and then 2 hits, which can be, which is vertical, which means it's harder to hit sometimes for monsters moving, but it can also be hit against monsters that are flying, and like I said before, it does more damage. This is one I use just because in Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate, I use Valor Mode, it's the same combo in that game. And finally is the switch skill for your silk line. This one unfortunately replaces your soaring kick, which is the better of the silk lines in my opinion. You do an anime-esque double slash where you just hit a ton of times after. The cool thing about this is, if you look at my spirit gauge, it levels up and fills it up. It doesn't do as much damage as Spirit Helmbreaker, but if this is a playstyle you like more and you're not too, if you have trouble filling up your spirit gauge, if you can't hit counters or as much as you want, this can be pretty good. It's not as optimal, I guess, as the soaring kick, but it's still a lot of fun and is very good. So just pick whichever ones you like the most. These are all up to preference. This is the set I go for when I play. With all the counter mechanics and keeping your spirit level up, the longsword might seem a bit intimidating or just hard for you to get used to at first. But like all weapons in Monster Hunter, it can be played at a beginner level, and you can beat the whole game at a beginner level. But over time, you're going to improve and get better at it, like with every weapon, and get to play it more efficiently, and use counters and your Spirit Helmbreaker in more advanced playstyles. So if you like the tutorial, feel free to like or subscribe, both of them. It'd mean a lot to me, as well as leaving a comment of your thoughts on anything about this guide and where I can improve for the next one. And correct me if I'm wrong, this is my main weapon. I play Greatsword, but Longsword's my second most played weapon just in this whole series. So I could definitely be wrong about something. If you want to correct me, feel free. I'm open to fixing whatever if I did something wrong. Alrighty then, thanks for making it this far if you did. I hope you are all enjoying Rise so far on PC, and happy hunting.